Ending in part 3. So on the flat faces of American businessmen. So tears could be rose. Row is something like honey in hieroglyphs. And I was thinking like of chairs, that's also a seat, a throne, which I think links to Isis. One plane could link to one as in hair that I mentioned, Sekat. For plain, I was thinking plain and simple, or a chariot. So 2 kings to 11. And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So that hammered and hummed could be the sound of a whirlwind as well. I didn't get any links with anything specific, like in real life or any real events as such. So the next line, broken only by the salient of a brown cigar and the red angle of a 6-penny magazine. I didn't get much for broken, apart from that Ken could be the same sound as like Ken rowing, I think maybe. There's probably more there. But salient is an angle. Was he using it as a play on words with angel, possibly? Cigar is a locus, we talked about that a fair bit. Not sure about brown. The 6-penny magazine was published by Ebenezer Ward and George Locke between 1861 and 1868. Ward and Locke started in Fleet Street. They also published the Odyssey and Webster's Dictionary. The 6-penny magazine included serialised fiction such as Lady Audley's Secret, and they later acquired another publication that involved a lot of poets and included in Tennyson, who was the laureate at the time. They moved from Fleet Street to Paternoster Row, where I thought the row could link to the tiers above. They opened offices in New York in 1882. They also published Arthur Conan Doyle's first novel and a series of travel guides known as Red Guides, so the red angle of a 6-penny magazine. I think it's those travel guides which could link to Baedeker. The plot thickens and I get lost. They also published the Windsor magazine. I didn't have time to look into that. And later on, John Bowden became involved. I haven't looked into those individual people, but I did look at Lady Audley's Secret, which was a serialised novel. Chapter 5 is called The Headstone at Ventnor. He knew that there was a great noise, as of 6 furious steam engines tearing and grinding in his ears, and he knew nothing more except that somebody or something fell heavily to the ground. He opened his eyes upon the dusky evening in a cool and shaded room, the silence only broken by the rumbling of wheels at a distance. Skip a bit. That newspaper this morning, Bob, what was it? Never mind just now, old boy, drink some tea. Yes, yes, cried George impatiently, raising himself upon the bed and staring about him with hollow eyes. Interesting. I remember all about it. Helen, my wife, my darling, my only love, dead. I didn't get to the bottom of all of it. He had to be away for some reason, trying to get back, a bit like the Odyssey, I suppose. And meanwhile, his wife died thinking that she'd been abandoned. Helen, Eleanor, is interesting. They find out she's buried at Ventnor in the Isle of Wight, which reminded me of Princess Elizabeth, King Charles I's daughter, buried at Newport.